Stay tuned for part two of our series, The Black Man Made Well. What's up, everybody? Yes, it's me. It's your boy, Mental Health Marty, coming to you live and, as always, in living color in Southern California, where the sun is always shining. And we hope that y'all on the East Coast are doing much better, because we are doing it still here in Southern California. And I'm not even going to tell you, we had gloomy skies today. It wasn't in our normal 80. It was about mid 60s. So I guess I'm not going to complain, but I hope that you are doing well. What's up, everybody? As we are starting another week, can you believe that this Saturday is Valentine's Day? So listen, to all the lovers in the house, and all those who ain't loving nobody, love on yourself. I'm taking myself out. Thomas, what's up, my brother? You didn't call me back today. Man, what's up with that? But Thomas, my brother from another mother out there in the DMV area, what's going on, good people? Hope you are doing well. And I hope you really enjoyed last week. We had a wonderful, phenomenal discussion last week as we were talking about the Black Man Made Well and spirituality and what that meant and some of the challenges that we're having, not only in the Black church, but within the Black community. So this week, we're going to do part two of that as well. And yes, Thomas was on last week. He's trying to see if to make sure we did do just as well as he did last week. But that's all right, Thomas. We'll get you back on and everything. But we hope everyone is doing well, like I said. But let us just kind of remind you of the purpose of Mental Health Marty Show. The Mental Health Marty Show is meant simply as a psychological and just to have the discussion to make sure that we are not secretly suffering in silence in the shadow of shame, but to bring awareness about mental health to our community, so that we no longer think of it as the other person's problem, but we all have some mental health challenges. And just because you're going through a mental health challenge does not necessarily mean that you have a mental health diagnosis. Listen, we all get depressed. You mess with my money, you mess with my family, I'm going to be depressed and anxious. But we want to make sure that we have and we normalize the conversation and what it means, because too often we have been misdiagnosed and over medicated because we don't know what it is and don't have the proper tools and techniques. So we are not a substitute for you seeing your therapist, for seeing your psychologist, from you seeing your psychiatrist, from you going to see your coach or anyone else. But we are simply a supplement and to be added onto your plan to make sure that you are living your best life. And as I always say, so that you have the ability to speak up, speak out, and live. So guys, let's just jump right into this because I'm so excited. Listen, I got to have my best friend on here who is none other. Listen, from Rasta GT, even though he's third world, we're glad he's here. Stephen Dolphin.
What's up, family? How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, listen. Oh, you're off. Oh, I'm sorry. What's up, Steve? How you doing tonight?
You don't know.
Yeah! Listen, we don't have any curry goat tonight, but we so glad
curry goat every night.
You have curry goat every night. No, I'm going to pass on the curry. Yes. How's it going, man? How you been?
Things is great. The family is doing amazing, and can't complain. Work is still around, and outside of what we got going on in this political climate, I'm trying to limit that intake.
Sure.
And put my energy where it needs to be, in the family and
Thank you for saying that, because a lot of us, I think that we're just overwhelmed these days just by all the stuff that's happening in our nation, good, bad, and indifferent. But I love what you said. You're putting your strength and putting your focus on the things that matter. How do you keep that balance? Because I think that a lot of us don't know how to keep that balance, especially you have three amazing grown men now that you getting old, not me. but I'm just getting better. Like fine wine, baby. We get better with age.
That's how we got to do.
Yes.
The beauty about our generation.
Thank you, thank you. But how do you do it? And what is your secret for not allowing the noise to overwhelm you?
Well, I still pay attention to the noise per se.
Okay.
And I'm still tapped into what's going on around me, and because of my personality, my nature, and that kind of thing. And but I do know when to compartmentalize it. You know, I know when it's time to, turn off the TV, put down the social media app, because you can run down those different rabbit holes and hearing all those different negative things all the time.
Right.
And every day is something brand new with something negative. So I know that going into my day, I know that I just do my news in the morning, and then kind of take it light, a lot of comedy and ways of mentally unwinding throughout the day and that kind of thing. So, and keep a light heart on and keeping those people around me who's not mentally taxing.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to put them, you got to Heisman them sometimes and kind of like, hey, let's push back a little bit. Exactly. So
right.
I think just limit your exposure, and put positive people around you, and surround yourself with people like-minded.
That part,
and and feed into you, and also not be like emotional leeches from you, but actually pour into you.
That's good. Now, see, this is not your first time on the show, but I try to expose and try and get new followers all the time. But for those who may not know who you are and what you do and your passion, besides Korigot and all that other stuff, who are you, man, and what do you do?
Well, I'm a former Marine, but that's how that's my Marty and I was in the Marine Corps. He wasn't in the Marine Corps.
I wasn't in the Marine Corps. I got stuck with him. All my best friends are from all y'all from the military. And I'm like, I'm doing deuce. I'm going to I wasn't cut out for the military. I wasn't. I would have been.
You're right here in Orange County. You got the two big, large Marine Corps bases right here.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the Black population came from.
Yes.
Yes. In this area, down the Irvine and South, Orange County.
Right.
So we kind of happened to run the same circle, and we did music together. We were together in Brent Jones and the TV Mob from back in the day.
Yep.
Which you can see here on the wall. I was a reggae man.
Wait a minute, I don't have one of those. Oh, I guess I left the group by then. and then came back.
Right. So then, while we were doing the music and serving in that world, in that space, I was actually working on, becoming a network engineer by trade. So, one of the things we always joked about was we don't believe in the whole starving artist thing. We have responsibilities at that time.
Well, we was daddies and husbands
that part
by then. Yes.
Yeah. So we had to take care of responsibilities. So we couldn't really live off of gigging alone. We had to have careers. So that's what we did, and we would gig at night and gig on the weekend, and then from there transition, got married, built a family, have my eldest boy who's a sheriff in San Bernardino County, and my twins who are graduates from Brown University, and one is right now at Cal State UC Berkeley.
Say that one more time. Say it for the folks in the back. Yes, go back. Yes.
So that's it. He's there for law school.
Yes, and, he is.
Out of his future. And my other twin, he got accepted to med school, so he's going to be a doctor. And he's heading out at the end of this year, first semester med school, and the world's our oyster. And through all of that, we launched a business. My wife and I launched a business called Ivy Bound LA, which we help kids get into those upper echelon schools.
Yes.
And our goal is you shoot for the Ivy, and if you land on where you're supposed to be, you may not be an Ivy, but you write and you actually try to strive for that. You shoot for the stars and land on the moon.
That's right.
And we try to pair kids with the right fit for their personality, what they're looking for, the whole gamut. And we grab them from freshman year all the way through.
I love it.
They have to curate their high school years to get to where they want to get to.
Yes, that's amazing, man. Thank you for the work you do.
That's my passion project.
That's your passion project. That's right. I love it. Those poor twins, they had to live with you. And yes, God bless you.
Ain't too mad now.
Yes.
That big firm.
Don't forget about Uncle Marty. Don't forget about
Okay.
Uncle Marty. Yes.
I think we gotta tell Uncle Marty don't forget about us.
Well, I don't care if they forget about you. Just don't forget about Uncle Marty. You know, that's between you and them. But listen, thank you, Steve. Listen, I want to bring on our next guest, who is a phenomenal. He's so laid back. I'm trying to be cool like him one day, but a phenomenal therapist. Black male therapist, and again, as black male therapists, we make only 1% of the whole therapeutic population. He's doing great things. One of the amazing supervisors, doing great work. And welcome for the very first time, but definitely not the last time, none other than Mr. Curtis Jefferson. Kurt, what's going on, man?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Marty, for having me.
Don't you love how you just come on, Mr. Marty? Thank you. Man, I appreciate you and all the great work that you do. I remember when they were telling me about you, and just excited that you had joined the whole Marcel family, man, and what you're doing out there in Moreno Valley and everything. But for those who may not know who you are, please tell us who you are. And then I got some questions about why you got into mental health of all things. Mr. Curtis.
Yes, sir. Well, I am a believer.
Yes.
And I am a father. I'm a husband.
Yes.
I love every single one of those titles. I cherish them. I do whatever I can to strengthen those
yes.
on a day-to-day basis, as well as being a clinician, being a therapist. That is a pride and joy of mine. I just want to continue to further that, just because of what I have seen that it can do and has done, and the impact of so many different people, including my own self. Mm-hmm. So yeah, in the snippet, that's me. I also love sports.
Okay. So what about the Super Bowl? What you think about the game itself?
So here's the thing. So I have been keeping up with Seattle. I've been watching the NFL. I've been keeping up with Seattle and the way the Patriots way the Patriots were playing. Right. So I already deduced that Seattle was going to dominate them, so I didn't even watch it. I just went to the park with my baby girl.
Oh.
Coming for y'all next year.
You know, there's always one in the crew, just outlandish. Yeah. You know, Curtis is all calm, smooth, and debonair, and you come on, what's up, G? Like Flavor Flav. The bright skin Flavor Flav.
Those are fun ones in the group. I love it.
I love it. So Curtis, what really got you and brought you and really lured you? Because I think therapy is definitely a calling, and anything in the social services, the mental health field. But why that field? Why that industry?
Well, I originally was not going to do anything in the field of psychology. Matter of fact, I had never even heard of therapy, psychology, anything in that realm to begin with, until I met a couple people and they were talking about it a little bit. And I started, because I was originally going to go to med school, be a doctor and everything. And I really thought that I could help people in this career field more, you know. And just growing up in Georgia, in Columbus, Georgia, we didn't have any of that stuff. That stuff did not exist. There was no, the psychiatrist around the corner, or the mental health facility over here, the therapist over there. None of that existed. No, there was no talk, even within the families, your friends. There was no talk about like emotional well-being.
Right.
If you're just impulsive, you're just impulsive. That's just how you are. So
if you was off the chain, you're like, okay, just don't give that brother no sugar.
Exactly. He need to calm down.
Right.
Yeah.
Put him in a sport. Get all that energy out.
Exactly. Exactly. They had no idea what to do with mental health, and they didn't even know that it existed. Just, you know, people just responded from what they felt. Their emotions dictated life, and it's really sad to watch.
Yes. Well, man, I appreciate the work you're doing, and we're going to dig some deeper into this conversation. But again, welcome to the show, man. Like I said, this is your first, but not the last. With that, and then coming last, my last guest that I want to bring on today. Listen, he has been watching me. Oh my goodness, for some time now. I think since the pandemic. And before then, he was Jonathan Davis. But this brother has went on and got his doctorate. So I have to call him Doc himself, who's doing great work. And when he was getting his doctorate and everything, he invited me to be a guest on his show and in the internship and all these other things, just to share about mental health. He's definitely an advocate for mental health. But I want to welcome to the Mental Health Marty Show none other than Dr. Jonathan Davis. Jonathan.
All right. Good evening, beautiful people. I'm so happy to be here, Marty, and amongst such amazing leaders in the community.
Yes, Jonathan, this is your first time in all this. Tell us who you are. We got to know your emphasis, and later I want to know what compelled you to really pursue this whole thing of doctorate.
All right, that's a pretty interesting question. So who am I?
Yes.
All right, you guys, I'm going to try real hard now. This is my goal, to shoot for proper, but I'm literally from the backwoods of Louisiana, and I'm a proud HBCU graduate of the Grambling State University.
Okay, and Grambling.
So, yeah, we in the house. So I'm going to see how long before my country and loud side shows up. I'm around sophisticated folks. You guys are in this house, so I got to make sure I show up and I act right. Otherwise, I'm gonna get smacked upside the head. Yeah. So a little bit about me: I'm a rehab counselor as well as an educator.
Yes.
I'm in Los Angeles, and what brought me here? I'm a Hurricane Katrina survivor. So for those of you that were watching the Superdome, I was actually teaching a high school for individuals with special and different abilities at the time. And I had my students in the Superdome with me, which was grueling 4 to 5 days before we began to slowly evacuate from that space, which hence brought me out to Cali. And so I have a sincere passion for working with individuals, not only with different abilities, but those that really are often marginalized.
Yes.
And then to be full transparent, I am an individual with lived experiences. And so this is what allows me to get into the spaces to really not only serve with passion, but serve with a calling, if you will, to make sure that individuals that are falling through the cracks are able to be caught, because there's always a better life, a better future ahead with the tools that Marty and many others provide within our spaces in our community. And that's why it's so needed. And so why I chose the doctorate, and I'll be real quick with it. The reason why I chose the doctorate is that, one, as I mentioned before, I'm loud and country. Well, when it comes to so
I'm
but
just
when
loud.
it comes to serving my people and making sure that individuals that are marginalized get what they need, then I have to switch up on you. It's almost like code switching. So I need to be at those tables. I need to make tables to sit around spaces to make sure that those that are often missed or fall through the cracks, that there's a voice, that there's resources, there's thoughts. So as individuals begin to work through those rough edges and work into a better life for themselves, folks can lead with empathy and compassion. And they can hear some of the things that I've been through to understand that you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. What you do is you bring the baby forth, you nurture it, because oftentimes individuals that have those bumps and bruises become some of the most brightest and brilliant stars that we have in the world today.
Y'all, he just did a mic drop. You said a couple of real important things that I love that you said. And too often when we see people that are different from us, we label them as having a disability, but you said those with an ability. And I love the reframing of that. And then the second thing that I like, and I want us to have kind of talk about that when we're discounted a lot. But I love what the second thing you said. You didn't say take a seat at the table. You said build your own table.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're constructing our own table. And I love that because, you know, too often we are waiting. And let's start there as Black men. Y'all, one of the things I love that the 100 Black Men we talk about is stop waiting on someone to save us. Let's start saving ourselves. And I love that. By the same token, what you're talking about is let's build our own tables. Let's build our own communities. Let's build our own programs that are designed for us so that we can stop fighting to get a seat, but we create our own seats, create our own chairs, and create our own environments. Steve, let's talk about that, especially with you paving this way for your twins. A lot of people don't realize that Brown University, not only is Brown ridiculously expensive, around $80,000 a year per student, you did not send one student, you sent two students. I'd be like, now one of y'all gonna go one semester and the other's gonna go the next semester, and then you're gonna share them grades, share them classes.
FaceTime in.
Exactly. We're gonna get to 2 for 1 deal. But talk about that, especially some of the Trump. I don't even say. I'm not even calling them Trump. The opportunities. I'm gonna spin it that way. Mm-hmm. That your boys had, and what you did as a Black father, knowing that I don't even know what the population of Black students is at Brown.
That's a very it's a very diverse school. That's one of the great things about Brown. It's a very culturally diverse school.
Right.
It's one of the ones that it's very similar to what you experienced when you went to Berkeley back in your ancient days.
Oh wow! We're going there. Don't make me have to have the Mac in the back just black you out and put you on mute. It's still my show.
I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm just saying. But go ahead, go. But yeah, go ahead.
That was a very when we did an actual Ivy League tour and saw like all the different schools. Like we started in Atlanta, we went to the schools there. We touched all the schools all the way up. We did Duke, UPenn, Harvard, visited Yale, and when they got to Brown, they were like, okay. Before they were chanting, "We want to go to Duke, we want to go to Duke." And when they got to Brown, they were like, okay, this is it, Daddy. We need to be here. This is where we need to. It felt at home. And it was a perfect environment. Like I mentioned earlier, we try to pair the kids to the fit that would fit their personality, fit what they're looking for, fit what they want. And so when they got there, they felt like that's the school, that's where they wanted to be. So now, people tell me all the time, like, your kids are so smart, that's why they got in. I'm like, well, yes, they're smart, but they work hard.
There we go.
And we got a psycho father in the background, that was like all over them. And my wife.
Please let the record show.
And the stigma is true about people from the third world country in education. Some of that, I poke fun of that, but we paired up and we actually put them in environments where they can be successful. And then we didn't, and our approach to their education was focus on their strength. Kids want to be, I have to like this program, like that program. Well, if you're strong in math, why are we pushing you towards science?
Yes.
We tailor you towards engineering. So we put you in environments where you can see more engineering.
Yeah.
Section for we enforce it on them, but that's where their strength was. It was in the health sciences. So we took them to all the different museums and different programs and put them in different STEM programs, that kind of thing, so where they saw where they could shine. And we firmly believe that when a kid is successful academically, it builds their confidence.
That's right.
If they're strong, if they're confident in science, put them in science stuff. It was really that simple to me and to us. So we had them in different after-school programs where they would do different things in science. They did SATs in, I think it was 7th grade, because just to get into the gifted and talented programs for Johns Hopkins.
Yes.
And that opened doors for other things. I mean, they didn't score like college level score, but they scored high enough to show interest in those different programs to kind of get them into those different programs, right? So, and open those doors for them. Our things was give them opportunity and in the area that they're strongest in. So now we kind of nurtured that. They were in tutor. They had tutors all the time. So it wasn't like, you know, on something like, oh, they were struggling in math, we got them a tutor. No, we did preemptive strikes. We put them in tutoring so they could be strong in math.
I'm glad you caught yourself. We did y'all catch just like a black daddy? We on the show. We didn't. I mean, but I want to talk to Dr. Davis. I'm going to swing over to you too, Curtis, because Dr. Davis, you being in education, and Steve said something that I think is very, very profound. As a parent, you know, they recognize the strength of their children, of the twins, and then nurtured that. Talk to us about, you know, you said you taught high school.
Yes.
God bless you.
College.
And put me in the college. I can't deal with, you know, them raging hormones and everything. Yeah, I've got fired from the job. And I love young people, but I just, you know, all that bounce off. But talk to us, you know, when you're talking about the abilities of the young people, I know you had to be one of their favorite teachers, because I could just tell already you met them right where they're at, and like, give me some of them gummy worms or whatever, and you know, you right there with them, be like, now sit your butt down and get that ramen noodle out my drawer and go get that for lunch and sit down and eat. But why is it so important that we, especially as Black men, nurture those, whether they're our own children, our nieces, our nephews, or those who are mentoring? Why is it so important that we speak to their abilities and not their deficiencies?
Well, one thing, we can often be our own worst enemy. Then two, living in communities and in households where being someone different other than the narrative is often challenged. It's not upheld, it's not valued. And so this is where us as community leaders, as community, this is where we get to show up and really encourage our community kids and students to be able to really bring forth the things that we see inside of them that they don't have the confidence and oftentimes don't see within themselves.
Yeah. No, that's so true about encouraging, and that, you know, and Curtis even speak to that, you know, as being, you know, a lot of us, we didn't have a lot of Black male therapists, and I get excited when I was doing therapy, seeing Black men come to me, and one of the things, Jonathan, that I do ask is that, who are you? Mm-hmm. And my question is, Curtis, have we been given permission as Black men to exist, to be who we are, full of, with the exception of Steve. Steve doesn't have emotions. But the rest of us, we have emotions. See, he got problems, y'all. He ain't got no. Michelle, run now while I got it on the show. Run for your life. But Curtis, talk to us about, have we been put permission to even be human beings, and what that's like from your therapeutic lens as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. I honestly don't believe we have been given permission to be human beings. We are, you know, permission to be human doings, humans that are just working, get the things done, get what you need to be done. Doesn't matter if you have deficiencies. Doesn't matter if you don't know how to do this, you need to figure it out. And not even just that, just we don't even know what it means to fully, you know, be present and be human.
Right.
You know, be in touch with yourself. Who is the self? What is the self? You know, there's so many different things I think that the Black community, men, women, are just missing so much of the beauty of what emotions actually bring. And what they're designed for. They're designed to help you be in touch with yourself, understand who you are, what your boundaries are, what you like, what you don't like. And when you just set those things to the side, you push them away, you will be a human doing, and you will continue to just operate as a robot. You will operate from your inner critic. You will operate from that loud voice that continues to control you, that voice that you want to escape from. without being too therapeutic, I could probably just
You're
pause
fine.
right
You're fine. You're fine. I love it. I love it. Keep talking. Yes. So Steve, what he was saying is this: it's all right if you.
Need to translate.
Steve, it's okay to show emotions. Really, really.
In my country.
Here we go. Here we go. You don't have to just do. You're allowed to be. Repeat after me. I am a human being.
Is anger and emotion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anger is appropriate in appropriate situations. Not all the time. But I love that. Thank you. That lends way to, are we more than just our anger? And is our anger really, I don't want to say justified, but is it warranted? Because we're expected as Black men to be the angry, the out of control Black man. And sure, and now it is even this, everyone else is allowed to be angry and it's justified except for us. And then when we get that way, we want to say, oh, they have, for our young people, conduct disorder. They're out of control. All those other, I'm trying to think of diagnosis that go along. Oh, opposition defiant for the teenager. And so then we put them on the wrong medications. We already know that they're over medicated because of wrong diagnosis. And when we're talking about depression, it's okay that white men be angry. Oh, they're just depressed. But when we look at Black men, we want to go to the extreme with that. And I'm going to go back to you, Curtis. When we're talking about that, and why is it so common with this, and that a lot of times, that's why I love that we finally have Black men in the field, so that I remember one of my clients was just like, "Who, you get me?" Like, yeah, bro, I get you. Now we ain't gonna be Della Reese up in this piece, but they ain't gonna shoot nobody in their pinky toe. And then I got to hit you with the garbage can and all that. But they're doing a remake of that.
Oh no!
I know. You can't touch a classic. You can't.
Don't mess that up.
I know. We'll see. But why is that so important? That and if I were to come to see you, Curtis, does that mean I'm crazy? Does that mean I'm just at the point of no return? What does that mean? And how do we normalize therapy?
No, that definitely doesn't mean that you're at the point of no return. I think what that means, especially if you come in, you're angry, you're not sure, or what you're feeling, especially in particular for men of color. What I see, anger is very, very prominent. That is one that they are more comfortable expressing.
Sure.
And the interesting thing about anger, though, is it's such a beautiful emotion, because it actually is a doorway to be able to understand, again, who you are. Your anger has a purpose. It's protecting you. It's showing up in an area where you have felt violated, in areas where you have felt as if you have been wronged in some sort of way. So it's a doorway to show you this is where you actually feel a certain way about yourself, about the way you have been treated. But the problem is, a lot of the time we stick with just the external expression of anger, right? The impulsivity, the snapping at people, the different violent acts, and that's all you see. And then you get thrown in jail, and then see you later.
Yes.
And it's really unfortunate, because it really, if we allow those individuals to slow down or sit down with them and help them see what their anger is actually protecting, you could really help that person blossom. You can help them be a human being. But yeah, that is an unfortunate aspect of anger, is because of what comes at a certain point, the violence and everything else, and that distracts. It's like, that's what everyone sees. They're like, this person is a bad kid. This is a bad person. And unfortunately, that actually isn't the case.
I love that. Yeah, I've never heard it that way. So when you said, I had to put that anger as a beautiful emotion, because we've never called that, because you said that allows us to see, almost take a glimpse into who they are. And when we understand the cause of the anger, because I always say anger is that secondary emotion, because there's something else driving that, like the tip of the iceberg. The anger is the explosion that we see, but what's underneath all of that anger that pushed it to the surface? And I love that, because even in Dr. Davis, when we're talking about students, and especially Black males, and even our Hispanic men, and they get that label of outbursts, anger, and all of that. How did you deal with that in the classroom? And does what, and in hearing how Curtis defined it, and I already know that's part of just knowing you, how you also embraced it. But did you do with that in the classroom, and how do you suggest other educators deal with that in the classroom?
I won't say that I have this special magic of some sorts, but one of the things for me was I had to deal with it, making sure that the students understood that they were seen and they were valued, and that I want the best for them.
Yes.
I don't care what we got to do, but I want the best for you. Unlike what you may have been told or what you see in media, in the household, or in the community, we can be greater than that.
Yes.
We come from challenges, but those challenges, we build those challenges to make us a lot stronger and a lot better. So I initially just start and allow them to come in to my space, show up as they are, but then we got to fix that. We got to turn that around, and by turning it around is first modeling it, and then just being honest with my students. One of the things that those of us with our degrees and our professions would have gasped at. I remember going into my special needs class for the first time. The student looked right at me and said, "You're one of us." Now I was thinking like, wow, I'm newly into this profession. How do I take that? And I embraced it. And so once students understand that we are human and we're one of them, we're not talking down to them.
That's good.
We're talking with them. Then that's the point that we can move forward together, because when you win, I win. We're going to win together. And so that's one of the things I think that in the classroom, the reason why oftentimes those kids that would roam the hallways would come into my space, we'll do the work, and then we can cut up afterwards. But if a principal or anyone walked into that classroom, we handle our business. And the way that I do that is oftentimes I can get movement and connection when I say, "You messing with my money," and sometimes kids resonate like, okay, say we gonna get on, you messing with my money, okay, I go messing with my paper, and so for that, I try to let them.
I don't know, black and
yeah.
Like, oh, I got that.
Yes. And so with that, they understand that, hey, you know what? If we are doing what we're supposed to do, whether we're in the classroom or on the streets, nobody has a right to check us, and we can still be free at the same time and enjoy life. It's not you have to give up everything and give up your whole self. We just have to make the sacrifice to be about our business, and then after we do that, then we can celebrate and put the ice cream and the cherry on top of the cake at that time.
I love it. I love it.
That benefits after you did the work.
Yes. Now, Steve, since you have successfully graduated from your anger management classes,
that's a lifetime class right there.
but no, I can clown with him. Trust me, he gonna let me have it afterwards.
Yeah.
But even with that, because you're absolutely right. A lot of times when we lack the vocabulary or lack the emotional intelligence, because psychological safety is that new buzzword that we're hearing a lot now. I need to feel psychologically safe, and how do I create that? And when we're talking about that, I don't think that a lot of men know what psychological safety is, because I'm going to go back to, we haven't been given permission to have that thing called psychological safety and what that means. And so we're grasping for anything just to be seen, heard, reared or even thought of as just being human and not animalistic, especially when false narratives have been reinforced this past week of liking us to animals and all of that, and it gets exhausting after a while. Steve, I want to go back to something that you said earlier, and we're talking about psychological safety and surrounding yourself with like-minded men and that type of thing. For, you know, dog, you know, I've called you many times. We've called each other. I'm like, listen, I'm about to blow up everything here in a minute, and I'm just letting you know, take care of my family, make sure they're safe, and you know, because and I, you know, I need you. If anything happens, please go in. My check this secret drawer. There should be some cash, immediate cash right there. Here's my PIN number. I'm gonna leave my wallet behind, draw some money out, and get me out of jail or whatever. But I did that because I knew I had psychological safety with Steve, and he was like, "Dog, come on, I got a Uncle Near's old fashioned smoke waiting on you. So let's talk." Oh, secrets. Okay. But why is that so important that we as men not only find the psychological safety, Steve, but find our own posse, our own crew that circle. We can. Yeah.
You got it. I think that's very important. I think that because it's one of the things that I've learned in business, and I think it's an adage that comes from the sales type world space where you talk about feel, felt, found. And you know, I feel the same way. Well, what I've been there, but what I found was blah blah blah. So I think that's important to find your circle and find your crew where you can actually feel safe to actually truly express yourself without judgment.
Yes.
I think that's important. And I think that we're, you know, it's my final four. You know, it's the four of us.
Yeah.
We actually hang out. We make it a point to meet up once a quarter because we're all over the place, you know, areas. And when we make it a point to check in on a regular basis, if not weekly, or if it's not on a group text. Because it's already a struggle out here dealing with what we're dealing with. Now, compound that with knowing that we don't have our safety net, and your spouse is there and that kind of thing, but sometimes you're connected with your boy.
Yes.
You don't have to sugarcoat things. You don't have to worry about how they feel. You know, I don't worry about how they feel. I just
because you don't have any emotions.
You know. and having that safety net helps me deal with my emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it helped me deal with my personality, which sometimes I'm not an easy pill to swallow at times. And I know this guy over here ain't talking.
Rod Michelle. I ain't said nothing.
But it's so awesome to have that crew, that safety net that you can actually fall. You know you're safe and protected. And at the drop of a dime, we're in the car. We're knocking on that door, and we're there. And to know that, even if you don't have to pull the trigger and get that, we know it's available. You know?
Yes.
Even with my kids, I know that. I try my best to be like, hey, I know this is tough. I know this is, I've been there, and kind of relate and that kind of. And I don't have the experience like you guys do to be formally trained in that space, but I know that I know how I felt growing up, and maybe felt misunderstood, that kind of thing. So I wanted to make sure I didn't want to repeat that with my kids. So I always try to talk them through things. I wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable talking to me about stuff the same way I feel comfortable talking to my boys about things.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure we have that kind of environment where we can kind of talk about anything under the sun. No conversations taboo. No judgment. Just lay it on me because it's not going to hurt my feelings. When they got two, and they're already on strike.
Curtis, can you make me a referral, please? We'll pay double for the trouble.
No problem.
No, but that's real talk. But a lot of times we, even as men, don't know how to have these honest conversations with each other, because I think there's this belief that we have to if this was a private men's show only, it's this jockeying for who's the biggest, or and that type of thing. But why do you think there still can be a lot of hesitation or resistance for even being vulnerable amongst even each other as men? And anyone can answer that.
Oh, okay.
Curtis, Dr. Davis, why do you think that's the case?
Okay, I'll jump in. I think that a lot of men in particular have been scarred in these areas. They don't really understand what it looks like to be, what it looks and feels like to be vulnerable, able to trust people. And so when you get into those circles and you have men who are like shaming you, they don't know what that means. They know what it feels like. They're like, I don't like that brother, man. He just something about him. It's like, well, you didn't like that he shamed you whenever you tried to be somewhat vulnerable, and he said something that criticized you or hurt you, and then that made you withdraw. You never want to go see him again. No, I just don't like that brother. And so it's those type of events over and over and over again. Childhood, all those different things, and it's really hard to build a really good circle. It's really hard to find that. Those who are trusting, those who are, like you were saying,
that's good,
even non-judgmental.
Yeah. Dr. Davis, what's your thoughts on that as well?
Thank you for sharing that. My thoughts would be, in addition to that, would be modeling that behavior. And so I often see that we kind of work against ourselves when we see our elders and others that should be changing what I refer to as generational curses, still carrying and perpetuating things that really keep us bound. And so I think that it's important, because one of the things that we know and I know is that oftentimes folks see what you're doing before they listen to what you're doing. And so when we think that we're off the grid and talk, and that kind of thing, and not allowing ourselves that space, the youngsters are paying attention. They can tell by our demeanor, our tone, when things get really tough in our family workspaces. We show up a little bit differently, and then this is a huge opportunity and missed opportunity most often to show how we can be resilient and how we can take the tools, reach out for tools, most importantly, to be able to weather the storm. And that's one of the things that I feel that, in addition to everything else that's been shared, that can turn the tide and really create a different narrative for men of color, for people of color, and just in general for all people.
I love that.
One thing that's important to you mention, I always thought of that old adage, it was my household, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
And those days are gone. What do you mean?
Well, they were gone then.
Say again?
They were gone back then. So it didn't work then. You're like, I'm just not going to do what you say while I'm in front of you. But as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to do whatever I want.
Sure. Yeah. Those days are gone. You say that doesn't work. That isn't that the definition of insanity.
Well,
does not work. Yeah,
it doesn't. Listen, we got a new part on our show that I like to call this. I call this the Dare to Dream segment of the show. And because sometimes we, even as Black men, don't get an opportunity to dare to dream. And if we could dream one dream for, and I'm going to go broad, and then I'm going to go a little bit more I'm going to go macro than micro, if you will. What do we wish and dream and dare to dream for Black men? I'm going to start with Dr. Davis, and then I'm going to go to you, Curtis, and then the one with no feelings.
Wow.
Oh, and they're on vacation.
Yeah. Dare to dream. Oh my gosh. I think that for me, it would be to normalize when we are in need of getting help and normalizing seeking help and utilizing the help that we get. And so the dream would be to remove the stigma around mental health and those that don't show up as society says we should show up all the time, to give space and to honor that space, to value it, to see like, wow, that's some strength there, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that happen in pockets, but not enough. And so I would dare to dream that the strength in being weak is actually the strength, as opposed to strength in putting on a facade when we know that we're weak and we need help, and that being rewarded and given the accolade. So I dare to dream that, hey, you know what? Show up as we are, and there, when we get to times where we need help and we need to weather a storm, that we have the tools. And if that doesn't work, reach out to someone in the community.
I love that. Thank you for that. Curtis.
Yes, sir. I think for myself, very similar. I would say to question, at least starting at questioning the generational trauma that is trying and that has been passed down to us. It's just and the reason why I say just starting at questioning, because a lot of men, just like you said, and there are a lot of them, they have this stigma, and they're not going to go into trying to do therapy, changing things, but at least, at the minimum, at least being able to question the generational trauma that you're passing down to your children, to your significant other, and what happened to yourself. Being able to question that as well. Like, maybe the way that I'm treating my child, or maybe the way that I'm treating myself, the way I'm talking to myself, talking to my boss, my coworker, maybe that isn't right. Maybe at least take some time to think about that. Pause and slow down enough to be able to embrace introspection, to be able to embrace the beauty of silence, of questioning things that have been just continued through our generation. It just kills me to see it, just generation after generation. Sorry, that really did. It just hurts.
I love it.
Seeing it.
I love it. Can't you imagine sitting in your session with Curtis, and he's just talking to you like, yeah. You just come out. I could do it. Rasta GT. What do you dare to dream for Black men?
I wish they'll be open to share more. They think we're so guarded, and because of we've been raised to be guarded.
Yes.
And it's funny because I've had a conversation the other day with my son, and he was telling us about some other cultures where they're like, oh, we don't talk about that outside. This is only between these doors. I'm like, okay, the problem is in these doors. So how can I, being open to expressing and sharing yourself without the fear of being ridiculed and that kind of thing. And also, and acknowledging your faults, and being able to acknowledge your faults and see if you can work towards some sort of change. I think that's what a big thing is. Understanding where that came from. You may not even understand where it came from, but just acknowledge.
Right.
Then you can start working towards understanding, and you can hopefully get towards changing something.
I love it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for that, as we're daring to dream and what that looks like and how do we do that, and that's so important and so powerful. I love that because, again, Dr. Davis, you talk about removing the stigma, and in removing the stigma, we got to address generational traumas that happened to us. And as we're addressing and questioning those generational traumas, it forces us, we got to be open and willing to share with each other and share our stories, because behind every story is a person that's gone through something, and that story is worth sharing so that others can understand where and who we are. Wow, I love that. Closing thoughts. Because I can't believe our time has gone already. We feel like we just got started. But I can't thank you, gentlemen, enough. Closing thoughts, Dr. Davis, and how can we follow or get a hold of you? Dr. Davis.
All righty. Well, you ended with some poignant words, and not only for whom we are is what resonates with me. We need to know that we are God's children.
Yes.
God has a masterful plan for each one of us.
Yes.
We will never be left alone, we're valued. So that's one of the things that I would say as a closing is that we are God's children and God has a plan, and let us have the tenacity to see it through. My sister shared with me, where's your faith? So for those of us brothers that say, you know what, I've been through too much, I don't think I can turn this ship around. I say, yes, we can. And you don't have to do it by yourself. We just have to lean in to the resources that are available, make ourselves vulnerable so that we can get what's ahead and what's owed to us and what we're entitled to. We have a right to be here, and we just need to do the work. And so that would be my thought. To get in contact with me, you can always shoot me an email at thefactsla@gmail.com, thefactsla@gmail.com. Please reach out to me. I am a very resourceful dude, and I am used to being in the South where they tell you, no, you can't do it. But with God's help, we can always make a way out of no way. And so please challenge me. We'll figure it out. We can do it together. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Katina, thank you so much. I love that. Curtis.
Yes, sir. Those are beautiful words. I think that closing thoughts, I think just being able to be open enough to connect with your creator. If you have been hurt by people, you become cynical towards people, you don't want to trust people, it's understandable. It really is understandable. We are broken creatures, but there is a creator, the creator, that does want to connect with you. And he doesn't want an anxious connection with you, an avoidant connection. A secure connection is what you can have with him. And that's what he wants with you. You're safe with him. And that would be the area I would start for anybody.
Yes.
Do not start with people. I would start with God first. And connecting with him first. Then you can go out. Then you can try to trust people again. Then you can try build those relationships again. But as far as reaching me, I don't have any social media.
What?
I don't. I don't.
Great therapist and nothing like that.
No, sir. I mean, they are welcome to email me at curtisj.jefferson@calbaptist.edu.
Wow.
Open the chat and just talk.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. GT. Rasta.
Yeah. So for me, I think this is the perfect time. We're in a generation where in a time and space now that we can be open to anything. Back when you think about it, where people had to hide in closets years ago, in our lifetime, to the point where they are today, where everyone has a platform to be able to express themselves. So let's just do that. Express yourself. Get out there. You are important enough to be heard, and understanding that, and you're important enough to actually share what you have to say and what you do. Like I mentioned before, being open to share it. Somebody else will be able to say, yeah, I've been there. I've done that. I've actually experienced what you're experiencing.
Right.
And I think that it's important to understand that you're not alone in this thing we call life. And the doctor just said it earlier, there's many different resources out there. Yes, there's still a stigma about it, but there's so many different people out there in the mental health space that is sharing and making tools available. And, you can do it in the comfort of your own home now, where you don't have to feel like, shame to go outside and go into someone's office and sit on the couch, which you have that old mentality about. So I think being that we're in a space where we can be and say what we want to say, even though it's very hard. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do. It's very difficult, but it's still a challenge. And you still got to break yourself to be open to express yourself in that fashion. But know that you're not the only one. You're in a safe space. And like you always say, Marty, you got to stop that stinking thinking.
I know that's right. That's right. You've been listening.
You've been saying that for years, and Brandon. It may not work for me. Well, yeah, it's all good.
Oh, me trying. I hope you got your holy or something.
You can hit me up on all social media platforms. You know, IB Bound LA on Instagram, Facebook. You know, all Twitter, you name it. Or Rasta GT1 at all those other platforms as well. I try to type it in the thing here, but it wouldn't allow me. You know, Marty keeps everything on a tight leash.
That's right. That's right. That's right. No, guys, I can't thank you guys enough. And we gotta have, these are the type of conversations we have to have. And I love and respect each and every one of you for what you do and the work that you bring to the community, because when we strengthen individuals, we strengthen families and we grow communities. So thank you for the healing work that you continue to do. And guys, I want to thank everyone for joining us again for this week's episode of part 2 of The Black Man Made Well on the Mental Health Marty Show. We are so grateful and glad that you have joined us. And again, this is just to bring highlights and to really have the conversation, just like Dr. Davis said, so we can break the stigma, so that we can have the conversations about what it means to just talk about how we're feeling, what's going on. We are allowed to be happy. We're allowed to be excited. We're allowed to be great. So be great, be brave, and be well. But in this journey called life, we don't want you to continue to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want you to be able to speak up, speak out, and live. As I always say, the best is still, y'all, yet to come. Join us next week for part 3. We'll see you then. Take care and God bless.
Enjoy your life, be free, live life, enjoy your life.